Peace, love, and light to the family out there. You are now in tune with the Blue Lagoon. I am one of your co-hosts. I go by the name of Mac. That is MACC. Mac and as can be. Never simping on my pimping. Along with my co-host, Lynx. Lynx, tell them what's popping.
Not much. I'm doing pretty good today. It's a good day. It's almost the weekend. I guess Friday's a weekend, isn't it?
Right. TGIF, bro.
TGIF.
On this edition of the Blue Lagoon, it's a very special edition because we got the Four Musketeers.
The nautical few.
And we are here with, not only with your host, co-host, Mac and Lynx, we also got my man, Fred, and...
Freddie Enzo on the track.
Say the whole name, damn it.
Naughty Fred. He got a couple names. Naughty Fred, Uncle Fred. He got a couple names, but, I call him Fred.
Frankie from the east side.
And not least, we have our homie, Mambo in the building. Mambo,
Hey, ¿cómo está? That's what we're talking about. Mambo. Feel for the party.
And right now, the Blue Lagoon, as of right now, we are in the Four Musketeers edition, and we are across America, ladies and gentlemen. We are in different states all across America right now.
Yeah, we are.
Most definitely, yeah.
Nationwide.
We are in different regions and different demographics, geographics, etc. So with that being said, you're going to have a collective perspective on a lot of different aspects. I just want you to enjoy, sit back, and stay tuned. Now, what's up, Lynx? What's up with some topics, my man?
Let's see what's going on.
I'll tell you what.
What you got, Mambo?
Boycotting the Mulan movie over in Hong Kong.
Yeah, why is that?
I have no idea, man. I'm not very good at foreign politics.
This guy. Mambo, you are out. Strike one.
Here we
What
go.
I do is what 90% of Americans do in order to keep myself from being as ignorant as possible and only kind of ignorant or mostly ignorant. I read the news story title and then I move on.
That's an excellent perspective. What do you...
Okay, so we found an article. Huh?
I was like, speaking of that type of perspective, what do you think about yellow journalism? Because that's absolutely one of the biggest things that we have. They call it fake news, but I call it yellow journalism because, freedom of speech, First Amendment. So
That's probably because they highlighted the whole page.
This guy. I mean, I believe in yellow journalism because, well, to a point,
Well,
it's good if it's for a good cause. Because I know a lot of people will call this yellow journalism when people are trying to bring to attention all the stuff that our grade A act, aka Mr. Presidente Trump the Fool.
Wait, so everyone understands. Shall you explain yellow journalism?
Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe from
Go ahead,
some of our
Mambo.
audience
Let
members.
him know.
go ahead, preach.
I mean, I wasn't saying I was going to explain.
Nah,
I'm
I
just
thought
saying,
you were
I
about to.
think
You
you're
gotta.
the
You
expert.
can't. Come on.
There is no experts on the Blue Lagoon.
We actually we'd have a politician on the record. Not on the record, but we have a politician that we might have on the podcast at some point that can probably explain yellow journalism.
We will have some pretty special guests coming up. That is true. We're going to have some good people on here. But in the
Well, I think you
meantime,
guys are special.
the only kind of company you need is ours.
Yeah, you guys are special guests. I mean,
No. We've been absent. We've been busy working behind the scenes, coming up with ideas.
So
what I
yes,
mean? Some
what
important
exactly
stuff.
is yellow journalism, Mac, my Mac Daddy?
Well, I mean, from my perspective, of course,
The Mac attack.
exclusively from my perspective, I think yellow journalism is pretty much people who are I should say decent in the profession of writing, and what they do is they document, right, uh, perspectives on certain things that occur within our world, certain current events. So sometimes it may not be in the perspective as someone else's. So what might happen is somebody might claim heresy instead of actually looking at it from a neutral perspective, per se.
Okay. So you're saying that there's some biased intent with every journalistic piece that immediately gives a certain set of facts that are appropriate to their certain vision.
Absolutely, man. We see it all the time. We see it with the Huffington Post. We see it with CNN. We see it with Fox 5. We
So
see
basically,
it
you're
with
talking about like, sorry. So like zero.
What I'm just trying to say is we see it with all of these major news networks, and I think where the yellow journalism gets kind of borderline, if you will, is when you have people going on social media, then reporting things either live while it's happening, or giving their perspective, or actually just gaining fire, trending with something that's absolutely heresy. So, give or take.
When you say heresy, what do you mean by that? Heresy?
I mean a lie. You know, I'm thinking that, you know, sometimes people, you know, who don't have the same perspective as another, right? They tend to not believe things wholeheartedly, just because the way the mind works. You know, I always say this as an example when it comes to science, and when I'm teaching science. I tell people, I say, you know, imagine one day waking up and somebody telling you the sky's not blue, it's clear. But all your life, you've grown up to believe the sky is blue, not just by somebody telling you this and teaching you it, but you actually waking up and visualizing it yourself and reflecting, you know, blue. So, you know, these are the concepts that I try to teach people, and they're like, no, you know, it kind of makes sense, you know, when you break down why is it clear and it's not blue, but it's just a reflection of the water and the sun rays and but people, you know, on a surface level of things, people probably like, nah, I don't believe it. That's hogwash, whatever. That's crazy stuff.
That's a great example, Mac, because basically you're saying blue is not really, the sky isn't blue. I got you, it's clear. But I guess that's where it starts, is that people assume that blue, interesting. Where does blue come from? Blue is the absorption of the sunlight's rays, the longest waves or the shortest waves, I forget, that make your eye interpret them as that certain spectrum of light. So there's no such thing as blue, it's just literally the appearance of those light waves. So when you say clear, like somebody's already had this preconceived notion of what something is. You're shedding light on what blue really is. You're saying that other people, when you read a story, immediately perceive something, even through, you know, good intent, that something is true based on how it appears. And you're saying to look at it in different ways and different angles that haven't been discussed. Is there a specific story that I guess that you have built this off of with the yellow? And first of all, why is it called yellow journalism? I feel like I have to ask, but either way, is there a specific?
Well, I mean, that's the word has been framed. Those are the words that have been framed for, you know, the concept of what we're talking about. So, that word, that term, yellow journalism, if you look it up, you know, it's actually a real term that's used amongst journalists and corporate media and social media. So, you know, I thank you for, you know, seeing my point. Thank you for agreeing with me. You're not always going to agree with me. I understand that, but on this very particular moment, I thank you. And you made some very valid points as well.
Well, thank you, sir. May I ask, though, was there a specific story that you found was falsely interpreted and that you feel like people weren't able to interpret well?
Not in particular, but there's plenty of incidents we hear about. There's I want to say, I'm not sure if it's called Hollywood, but I remember, I'm pretty sure we all do. We go into the grocery store, right, with our parents, and we see the magazines that are pretty much stacked at the register with the candy and such like that. And we see these things, and you know, if you really look at them, you'll just see a whole bunch of titles screaming at you in the newspaper. I mean, or in the article in the magazine, you just see them and you're just like, wow, like, this person have died. Depending on how they put the letter and the way that the colors that they're using and the photos that they're using, all of that attracts viewers. And I think that what really drives yellow journalism, not just intentions to corrupt.
Ooh, so kind of like clickbait on YouTube.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Like a media marketing.
Sensationalism.
Yeah, and I from one of my scholars who I cannot say his name because I have so much respect for him, and he has taught me a lot throughout my journey of science.
Hey man, I say it, Lord Voldemort.
I'm
not scared
of Lord Voldemort. But it's a guy who told me, he's a prominent man. He's a guy who has done a lot to his community and such. And he said something about media. He said, don't look too hard on the media because, there's a saying within the realm of media. It says, if it bleeds, it leads. And that's a very true concept that when you speak to other people who are kind of like into reporting and broadcasting and stuff like that, if it bleeds, it leads basically means if it has anything to do with blood, shock value, trauma, anything that has to do with some type of reaction within our body that will make hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people react a certain way that will cause a chemical within their body to go off. That is not a healthy chemical in the way it's being released within the body. So these are things that I understand. These are I'm going a little holistic a little bit. I'm going a little bit in the spirit realm with things, but those are the concepts that I kind of link together and understand that affect life.
Do you think that the media, with that same if it bleeds, it leads, which I think was written from the New York Herald back in the 1820s, do you think that's because they don't believe people will look into stories that don't have shock value, that there is no trust in society to learn about something without some
bro, think about this. Everyone.
Hold up. I'm gonna let you talk, Mambo. Right after I go after this, I'm gonna just say this real quick, a real one-liner, and it just have to do with capitalism, money. We live in a very capitalistic society. Money, newspapers at one time in our society was the social media of the day, and everybody needed and wanted and had their own printing press and newspaper and so that's an important concept. But capitalism, money, that's what really drives it. Go ahead, Mambo.
I don't know, man. I'm just saying. I just like a good action movie every once in a while. If you put on some trailers of everybody getting along, high fives, smiles, kumbaya all around, I don't think you're getting people to go watch that movie. But if you got conspiracy going on, if you got people pillaging the village, if you got people trying to, stop people from committing crimes, or people are committing crimes, hey, everyone likes to go see a bank robber movie. People like to see that stuff.
I detest Mambo, and you know why I detest that? Because
like you said, if it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah, but we live in such a society that is really damaging. I'm sorry to say this, but I have to, because I deal within a holistic realm with energy and understanding of holistic principles and the principles of nature. So when I see let me ask you guys a question, and this is a very bold, just very basic, nonchalant kind of BS question. How many Halloween Jason Michael Myers movies have they made? Over 20. We can arguably say like over 20, right? We can arguably say like over 20 in these movies.
Yeah, go ahead.
Has it been 20? I don't know.
Okay. Now,
Been a lot
I'm
of
a
horror.
fan. I'm a fan of horror. I'm not spooked about it or nothing because I understand the science behind a lot of these horror movies that they put in the visuals and stuff. So I'm not spooked. But what I do notice is there's a very structured way when they go about these things, because if you see somebody being stabbed repeatedly on, your mind is a very powerful tool. It cannot decipher certain things about our everyday life that we have discovered and created. So visuals that go into the mind that we see, it starts in the eyes and it goes into the pineal gland or pineal gland, and then your brain. You know these things and see these things, and they're like the same way we use our phones with Snapchat and stories. These things are like flashes on our mind. They stay there. Some don't, some do, but they're flashes. I know if you've seen a movie, you can in your mind can remember a scene. No matter what movie it was, it can remember a scene, so you can bring back that movie. And I think movies do that. So if I'm a fan of Freddy Krueger,
I watch a lot of movies,
and Halloween, those aspects of those movies can give a person the potential to become a serial killer. If I watch a lot of killing and shooting and
why do you think that is? Do you think it's trying to do you think it actually is expressing or helping people expose certain feelings that they already have inside them? Or is it just like some primal instinct that's being drawn out because of whether they're repetitively seeing, they're going to feel like they should repetitively behave like, or it just, inspires those emotions?
I honestly think, like I said, I think holistically. I have to keep reminding everybody that, so my ideology doesn't throw you off. But I think we live in a world that is continuously revolving around energy. No matter how you slice it, dice it, and give it another name, it's called energy. And when you put out a certain frequency
or matter
with energy, I consider it magic. I consider it magic because if you think about it, we are living in a world where, we're pretty sophisticated. We live in America. I mean, like, a lot of people would, love to come here. They would give their right arm for it, right? But at the same time, we're kind of ignorant to our sophistication in a lot of different ways. And we're seeing it very, prevalent now. You know what I'm saying? We're so smart, we're dumb.
Yep.
I think a lot of these movies raises the crime rate. I like a lot of these movies, these storylines. Like, if you notice, we can all agree when you watch a horror film, there's always going to be a sex scene where somebody dies. These concepts.
I guess I haven't seen enough. Sorry, I haven't seen enough horror films to see that scene.
Anxiety, you know what I mean?
Sorry, but
I don't know about peripheral things, but my amygdala is going through the roof. It's just acting haywire because I don't want to die in the middle of it. Imagine that kind of death.
Yeah, but do you know what that
That's
does
terrifying.
to your body when you release those? I don't want to. I'm probably saying the wrong word, but endorphins. Do you know what that does to your body?
I mean, hormones, probably hormones.
Not hormones. No, not hormones. Endorphins.
I concur. Endorphins.
Thank you. When you secrete certain, our body is magical. So it's just like when you actually understand that we have chemicals in our body that do certain things at certain times in our life. But whatever if you have the moment, like, you've ever been so happy or scared that you release like you can feel it in your body releasing. And then sometimes it brings in a dopamine of joyfulness that you got to keep getting it. You want to keep getting it. And I think that.
Adrenaline rush. Is that what you're talking about, Mac? An adrenaline rush? The fight or flight?
That concept as well. Thank you. It's basically the same thing, but you don't understand what that does to the body in the long run. And those are the concepts that I'm kind of tapping into. And just the visuals, like what you're watching. You know, don't watch something that is destructive, because you don't know what it's doing in the long run to your mind. Our mind is like a freaking, you know,
It's true.
a
It's true.
gazillion gigabyte SSD card. Like it's just.
But yeah, man, let's be honest. We love to feed into capitalism. Like, I'm not gonna lie, man. I gotta go watch that new James Bond movie. I love James Bond. I don't know about you.
Are theaters even open? That'd be crazy if they were even open. I
like-
think everything's
I
through.
like suits. You like women, and then you like people getting shot at. That's it. You get all three. Boom, boom, pow.
Boom, boom,
Can I ask
pow.
you a clarifying question
One
there,
movie.
Mac?
What is that, Enzo?
What would you like for me to clarify there?
Yeah, what's my name?
Enzo?
What's your name?
Yeah. I just want to hear you say it again.
Fred?
Yo,
Yeah,
Freddie
yeah.
Enzo, if you don't got nothing to talk about, that's okay. Mr. Mambo
I'm
can
gonna
keep
ask you, I'm
talking.
gonna ask.
No.
I wanted to see, you were talking about crime rates for a second there. You think that the amount of horror movies and the amount of gore and blood and violence on television has to do with crime? Do you think there's a correlation?
100,000%. Now, I'm not gonna say that every single detail of crime is accredited to movies and screen projection. Let's use that because the black box, right? The black box, the screen, the tablet, the phone, the black box, the black, you know.
Gotcha,
So-
yeah. I saw Black Mirror.
Yeah, which is a very good series if you really think about it, and there's a lot of things in there. I would like to touch on that on a different podcast
one?
because that'd be great. Black Mirror, you guys, if you haven't seen it, please check it out. Oh, and Love Country. Oh,
Lovecraft Country.
Wait, what's Black Mirror
Lovecraft
even
Country.
about?
Woo! It is good. I mean, man, you know what? I'm just happy that we live in a world today where we can actually put those things on screen instead of the average bullshit.
You could
Excuse
have a
me.
black mirror instead of regular clear mirror. Because if I think about it, you could still see yourself pretty clear. You know, you use TV screens, but if it was like a mirror, like made like a mirror, you could still probably see
Black-
yourself pretty well.
Which
Just
is
like
Black
tinted.
Mirror.
it goes back
See,
to
you know, Black Mirror is the material that is taken in the Congo that we use to create these cell phones and these tablets and smart TVs. I don't know the exact name of the I guess metal. but
Cobalt.
It is a.
Can
the
I
so
stop
basically
you real
the
quick?
black-
Can
the
you
black
explain
screen-
what you
the
mean?
black screen-
Nah, let's hold it. What? Black
Oh.
Mirror is what? Are you talking about?
well, we're talking about first.
Are you talking about the
Okay.
show? Or maybe I checked in a
talking
little
about-
late.
We was
Oh,
talking
Oh
about
yeah,
the
you
TV
need to give
show.
Links a little bit more of an explanation.
All right,
We-
as
we-
long as I'm
we talking
catching
about
up
the
right,
TV
because
show.
as long as this is not real is pretty much what I'm saying. Because this sounds like some malarkey. If you're saying that there's some special crystallized glass out in the Congo that we use to make all smartphones.
The Cobalt Mines.
The cobalt mines?
Yeah.
Cobalt.
I remember Andrew Schultz was making a joke about this on his podcast. If you watch that guy.
I don't know who Andrew Schultz is, but he can stay over there. That's all I gotta say. Okay, I see. Cobalt
I'll tell you that
mining
he's not doing as well as our podcast.
over at the
Well,
Blue
I would-
Lagoon.
I would love to have him on. I wouldn't mind having him on, and I wouldn't mind being on his podcast.
I don't even remember who this Andrew Schultz character is, so I apologize. but-
Hey, how about that guy that like debates?
so cobalt
really-
mining
like, the
for
guy talks really
lithium-ion
fast.
batteries. That's what you're
He's always
saying.
debating.
So this is just another blood diamond situation, but for smartphones.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yo,
Well,
Enzo.
that's one way to put it. Yeah.
You-
Right?
Enzo,
That's
you
exactly
watch
what it
Fox
is. I
News?
mean, what do you like? Where?
News?
But the
Who's that guy
really-
that's always on there
really
talks
wasn't-
really fast? He's like this famous debater.
One at a time.
Yeah.
Tom Shapiro.
Mac, you first. What'd you say?
I was just basically saying that really like this is great, and I'm glad that we actually went to like the we went down a rabbit hole with the Congo and the smartphones, but
That'd be a good
it
guest
really
to have
wasn't
on.
really the point. Really, my point was just with Fred's clarification and his knowing the right mineral.
Yeah. Well,
Thank
I
you.
think we got to
I'm
talk
saying
about
that.
some stuff like this. This is insane.
Well, yeah, I kind of knew this was happening for a long time. This
I
is
knew
not
there was some
anything-
special metal, but I didn't know that I mean, Jesus. I mean, whatever. Respect to all you religious people out there, but
It's funny you say
and then also respect to the fact that there's gonna be a Black
Damn.
Panther statue out in South Carolina. Was it, Mac?
In Anderson, South Carolina, where he's from, they're gonna remove a Confederate statue and replace it. So that's gonna be a big energy shift within that grid.
That's good. I like that.
good stuff.
You know,
Most definitely. With what? So
energy.
they're gonna put a Black Panther statue?
They're gonna put a Chad Boseman statue,
Okay,
but you know that he's always gonna be Black Panther. You know?
No, I mean I know, but what I'm saying is, are they gonna put it of like him as like, you know what I mean? Because sometimes they do like the, you know, because he's the Black Panther. But what I'm saying is
Is
are
it
they
gonna
gonna
be
put
him in real
him
life,
without
or
the
is it-
mask and then like wearing the rest of the bodysuit, or is
Nah,
it
it's
just gonna be like him wearing
it's gonna
regular
be the guy,
clothes,
man.
or is it gonna be like full out Black Panther?
Nah, it's just gonna be him because I mean, even though he's like accredited for Black Panther, and
Yeah, but
always
he's
gonna
accredited
be,
for
that's
much
gonna
more
be his
things.
legacy. He's done.
I mean, look, I know he's been
a
a lot of American icon. I mean, he's had a lot
Yeah,
of
Also-
significant roles.
Also, you know,
Whether-
Akon
whether
is gonna
Marshall,
build a
Jackie
Wakanda City.
Robinson,
You heard about that?
T'Challa. Those are
Mambo.
powerhouse roles, man.
Mambo, hold up. Did you know that? Mac is shaking his head yes, but there is going to be a Wakanda, and it's built by Akon.
Say that again.
Like he's gonna
Yeah,
build a
I heard about
Wakanda
that.
City.
Little like Utopia Society.
I mean, I
I
don't know
wouldn't
if it's
say
gonna be
utopia,
Utopia.
but I
Yeah.
wouldn't say a Wakanda kind of environment. He's got a what they call a loan from China. He got like a $1 billion loan from China, something like that.
Worth over
So-
$6 billion is how much that'll end up being worth, that building that he builds.
So I
And-
can't wait till I go. I know I'll be welcomed in his Wakanda, you know, with my American dollars and my American spirit. I go up there and holler at, you know, when it's done.
Man, I told
Go
you
to
capitalism
Wakanda,
forever.
you're gonna spend.
I mean,
literally has.
Look at Dubai. Dubai was just a desert at one point, and in like a couple of years, decades, like it became what it is. Like so.
That's true. That's true.
There we go. Today, in today's world,
Got a
you can
point.
build a civilization like that.
Akon City, or also Wakanda buildings up in there. Do you see what I'm looking at right here? Look at
Wakanda.
look at the code behind. You see this hovering ball behind the mouth? That's
This is
intense.
Akon City, but you see, I was close. I said Akanda. You see?
It's a new day. It's a new dawn, and it's a new day.
Let's
know?
give let's give
Oh,
this video a
let's
little
take a minute,
respect
though.
because I respect
Dude,
Akon for all the good
You
things
can
he's
see
doing.
a photo of it right now.
That
looks like a big dildo.
I'm going to play this, so let's hear the audio. So Mambo, let's see what it's about.
Understand the land. We need water.
Waves diving into the roots of nature, making each building breathe life. Dancing to celebrate a future at Akon City.
this is the investment. And
yeah, but that's like saying I got a pair of shoes, but you built them for me. You gave me the shoes. They're your shoes, so I'm wearing them. You let me wear them, but they're not my shoes.
What you gotta understand is we live in a time where politics, global economy are becoming more and more a thing. So some nations have things that other nations want, and vice versa. Now, you have agreements and you have treaties upon these things. And when you achieve those things, instead of going to war, which we know is a global economic phenomenon, right? Instead of going to war, you do trade commerce. And this has been done forever.
What are you talking about? Isn't dominating easier than creating real business?
Well, I'm not. What I'm trying to say is, see, and I this is one thing that I've just come to notice within my learning of the whole continent, not just where my tribes have come from. I've noticed that there's a Manhattan, and not in every major country, and not in every, because there's like 56, 52 countries of Africa. I'm not sure, 54. I'm in 50-something countries. I'm not sure, but I know it's in the 50s. Not everyone is developed. Not everybody wants to be developed, quote unquote, right? They want to have their tribal and their lifestyle. So what I notice is the ones that are moving forward towards development, they have Manhattans in each major city or capital that they have.
Yeah, every place wants to be like New York.
These things, there are freaking suburbs in Africa. It all depends on what nation you're coming from on the continent. And if you think about how huge Africa is, take the idea of the map that we've seen all our life of Africa. You could fit America, Russia, and China in Africa, and more. And there's more space to go. It's huge, bro.
But
it's a huge continent. I understand
Asia is still bigger.
Huh?
Asia is still bigger.
Well, it all depends. Well, this is not necessarily a.
So is North America.
It's not a competition with it's not. We're talking. I'm not talking about population wise. I'm talking about
another country from one of the largest from the largest continent in the world is buying a property on a smaller continent. That's just telling you that they're exploiting, it seems like it's exploiting something that they already have.
I can't confirm nor deny something that I don't know, and so I'm not gonna sit here and say they are, and I'm not gonna sit here and say they're not, because that would be a non-factual on my behalf.
Mac, you brought up how in the future, at least, or even right now, present day, that war as a concept you think may disappear, and that the idea of basically trade wars will occur instead of physical war. Is that correct?
Trade wars is a very interesting concept because it's labeled a war. But what my people know of war, we know war is bloody. There's no bloodshed. There's no real war. What there is a disagreement, which will eventually either come into something or not.
Gotcha.
What I'm talking about is war is it's a global economic phenomenon. It brings in a ton of money. America spends 3 times the amount on the military in preparation of war than anything else. So yeah. I think war, the threat of war, the understanding of war, something that's serious, and I don't want any nation and the human family to be a part of it.
No doubt. My question to you would be, in this future globalized economy, especially how interconnected economies are now, do you think it is more just, I guess, as a act of power against another nation, or an act of aggression in general, do you think it is more just to commit war and literally kill members of the society, say for 5 years, or to basically enslave a population underneath an economic stranglehold on the country and its people for over 50 years? Which one do you put it more just?
I don't think neither of them are just. But
Which one's
but,
better?
I mean, and I don't think they're both horrendous. They're both horrible and horrifying. But I think I honestly don't know. I probably I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know.
And that is a very mature answer, honestly. Because a lot of people don't things and pretend they do. So that's a good point. What do you guys think, Mr. I forget what. Oh God.
Can you just repeat the question again?
Links.
Repeat the question.
Do you think it's a better outcome to have a physical?
Wait. There's we got a motorcycle gang out here. Scrolling through. Can you repeat what you said now? They're gone now.
Got you. So I was asking Mac, as well as Mr. Mambo number 5, which one do you think is a better resolution of some sort of disagreement between nations? The act of physical war and destroying property for, say, 5 years and literally killing members of that society, or enslaving a population basically through an economic stranglehold for over 50 years, like most colonized nations have been under, especially as
like Puerto Rico.
Like Puerto Rico, if you want to go as that as an example. Yeah, go for it. Which one's better?
None of them are better. I mean,
I'm gonna be honest.
I mean, ideally, I don't know. It's not. You would hope the resistance stood up strong enough to stay out of that type of control, but I mean, Puerto Rico's chilling, depending on the country or state. I mean, the struggle and the loss of people are just going to be painful. And if it's not real enslavement and people just get a nationality privilege like Puerto Rico and they just get to bounce, if they do well enough, things are hard there. It is still, it's not America. They just become citizens, so they have some sort of opportunity.
I mean, but it is circumstantial, though, right?
It is circumstantial. It could be, it's not always going to be the U.S. conquering, even though they have.
Yeah, but those wars of conquest don't really exist anymore.
Yeah, but that's besides the point.
I think that's the circumstance, because when you're dealing with I guess financial enslavement.
There we go. But that Russia's not like doing it like that. They're just like, Russia was throwing down fences and they were like literally picking it up and bringing it over and making it bigger. Like each week they were just bringing it out like let's say a foot, probably not a foot. But let's say a foot, and they're just like saying, "Oh no, this is still Russia." Then they're just getting bigger and bigger.
Dude, they were bombing Ukraine. I have a friend who lives in Bushwick who literally left Ukraine because she had to get out of there because there was bombs in her neighborhood. They were going off. They weren't just saying, "Hey, this is our land now." They invaded. They shot at people. There's still conquests, is all I'm saying, I guess.
I agree with you, Fred. I definitely agree with you. I want to bring back the concept of slavery because I think that we do have a misconception of slavery. Okay, and when we think of slavery, we think of one demographic or one type of concept of slavery. There's also mental slavery. That's a real concept now, and it's been scientifically proven time and time again. There's it's a very complicated concept, but slavery has been around for a long time, very long time, biblical if you want to get.
I mean, it's part of every empire. No empire existed without slavery.
And one thing about slavery, it doesn't discriminate. I think as Americans, we get used to hearing, when we know of slavery, we think of the African Americans.
Well, I mean, but that's only the most recent enslavement of said diaspora in recent years.
What I'm saying, we as Americans, we get taught through the General Education Board about slavery. It's required within the American curriculum. You can't get around it. So that concept, we know that.
There are some states that were trying to cover it up. Sorry. Bringing up a very valid point. That's a touchy subject, and I don't want to take any attention away from it. But there were some states that weren't teaching it right, and they were keeping parts out.
Right, because sometimes the truth is very hard, to swallow.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say is, you know, it doesn't slavery doesn't discriminate who you are. It happens to a lot of different people. It happened to a lot of different nations, and some by their own kin. You know, some by their own, you know.
All the
tribe.
time, man. All the time. Tribes used to enslave each other all the time.
So these concepts are not new.
Yeah.
But I just think we just, you know.
All right, fellas. On that somber topic, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go do the mambo, work out my body, and get ready for tomorrow, fellas.
All right.
And for the next podcast. It's been a good convo, but I'm gonna have to bounce for now.
All right. Peace out, Mambo. Have a
Peace,
good Mambo.
Mambo.
All right,
Peace out.
Lynx, Mac, Enzo. Later, fellas.
Yeah. Peace out. Now it seems like our guests have both been they both exited the convo, so here we are. That was the Blue Lagoon for today. I'm thinking, Mac, unless you wanted to bring up anything else.
No, I think that was a pretty well-rounded episode. I think it was dope, and I'm ready for the next one. See y'all on the next one. Thank you for tuning in to the Blue Lagoon.
Peace out from Lynx, which is me, and also, dang, I forgot what was his name? Enzo. Mr. Enzo. Peace out from him. He was having technical difficulties, but he's out of here too. Peace out from the Blue Lagoon.